following announcement has been paid for by the Celtic World Order.
Oh there, good afternoon, welcome back to Celtic World Order. It's a bit of a rarity, 2 on 1 screen, talk about value for money. I, of course, am Steve O'Matt and I'm joined by my bearded brother, my right-hand man, partner in crime, whatever you want to call him. It is, of course, Paddy Boy, and we are here at Shea Paddy. A couple of throws of the darts, a wee bit of chilling out, and, of course, talking all things Celtic with yourselves. It's a warm welcome to yourselves joining us here this afternoon on our YouTube channel. I hope that with the sun shining, it's going to be a positive and it's going to be a bright night and a bright start under the lights for Celtic tonight, Paddy, as we take on German Giants, RB Leipzig. We feeling good, my man?
I'm feeling quite positive going in. You know me, guys. I'm the essential 4-0 man. I'm not that daft tonight. I'm not going to go 4-0, although that would be absolutely phenomenal. I'm thinking probably 2-1, 3-1. I put a wee post on the TikTok earlier on saying that I hope all the fireworks tonight are going to be at paradise.
Absolutely.
And do you know what? A few comments on there. A lot of people confident. A lot of people coming in with 3-0s, 2-1s, 2-0s. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are going to be on it.
Get them in nice and early. Let us know. We'll try and get as much comments as we can, get a wee bit of interaction. I know everybody will be buzzing for the game, as we're certainly buzzing. 8 o'clock can't come soon enough. But before we do that, the wee quick bit of housekeeping. As we say, welcome back to the channel here on YouTube. If you are one of our returning subscribers, we are eternally grateful for your efforts. Help grow this community, which has been thriving. If you're new, a warm welcome yourself as well. Just make sure that by the time you've watched this video, you give us a wee thumbs up, give us a like, share it if you want to go a bit crazy, but most importantly, and it takes you 2 seconds, costs you nothing, hit that subscribe, hit the bell icon. Every time we go live, every time we do an upload, you get notified. You miss no content. If you want to be like the Bold 420, you can be a member. It's a donation to the channel, no additional content. Everything that we do will continue to be free. It just helps with putting this all together because that does still cost us. If you want to get us elsewhere, you can catch up on Spotify. Everything will be uploading audio content. No excuse not to catch up with CW on the move. Of course, as Paddy says, we're on TikTok, and finally we're on X at CW Pod 1888 and Spotify, as it says there. So plenty of options for ourselves to catch up. So let us know, and there we go, straight off the bat. Thank you very much, 420, giving out a membership. Whoever it is that gets that, very lucky indeed to them, and thank you again for your support there, my man. So Paddy, broadly speaking, you gave us a wee flavour of how you're feeling. It's a familiar foe in RB. We've played them a few times. We've played them Europa League. We've played them Champions League. So we kind of know what we're going to be getting out of them. Based off that 6-0, of course, confidence has got to be high, but there's a wee tale of cautions or not. We saw how confident we were playing the last German team, the Champions League. Does the home crowd make the difference for you?
Yeah, 100%. The last time we come off a 6-0 again, wasn't it, against... was it St Johnstone?
Yep, I believe so.
Come off of that 6-0, we're going in thinking we've just won 6. Now we're up against Dortmund here. I think we can take something. Yeah, that was a showing up. This team are currently sitting above Dortmund in the Bundesliga. Now I'm not saying by any account that Leipzig are capable of doing that to us. Listen, on their night maybe, but nah. Paradise, we've beat bigger, we've beat better, we've done more in there. And the Celtic fans have got this notion of being able to soak the ball into the back of the net, so to speak. So absolutely. I'm confident going in, and obviously you guys are as well.
Well, we'd like to hope so. It says it's a familiar foe. She says, and we've played them to mixed results, of course. Yes. Brendan Rodgers is familiar with playing them before. We've had a victory over them. We've played them more recently, not quite exactly as we wanted it to go. But one thing about them is they are extremely organised. I know it sounds like a cliche, Paddy, when it comes to these European sides, but they are absolute top draw. The manager alluded to it as much in his press conference, and he had all the descriptors that you would expect: organised, physical, full of talent, a real danger all over the pitch. Brendan, one thing that I just want to bring in, when he was talking about that and he was reflecting on the last German opponents, the Dortmund match, and he was asked about the squad, he was asked about how we were going to approach it, what are we going to do, and he basically says, in enough words, it's horses for courses. I'll assess the opposition, and everybody in this squad knows that they'll be getting an opportunity. If it's not tonight, if it's not the last game, it might be the next one, or so on and so forth. And there's a real sort of joint up thinking there. Everybody's singing for that hymn sheet and understand how it's going to be. What he did say though is that we learned some lessons from that, and he even went as far to say, including myself. I think that was that nod to that change in approach that we saw in Bergamo against Atalanta. And of course, as you say, is about shooting the ball into the net, the home support, the noise under the lights. There's going to be some slightly different pressure, is there not? Because you've got the pressure of the opposition you're playing and the occasion, but there's also going to be that wee level of expectancy to, how do we say it, play the Celtic way, go out, all attack, gung-ho from the off. Is that what you're going to be expecting tonight, or do you think we're going to be getting a wee fine mix? Because yes, we're at home, you've got to be positive, but as we've seen against these top sides, you're just one mistake away from a kicking.
Yeah, you spoke about it in the preview as well. The firepower that these guys have got up front is absolutely incredible. Their wing play, again, amazing. These guys, they're no mugs. They're sitting second in the Bundesliga. You don't get there by luck. They're playing well. They're a decent enough side. Like Steve says, they're a European side as well. They know how to play in this competition. I think if we play similarly to like we did again, the dirty work in there, I'm confident that we can do that. I'm confident having guys in there like Trusty and CCV, Alistair Johnson, and I think young Alex Valle will start as well. I think these guys have got the potential in there to nullify these strikers, to limit them to as little chances as possible.
Well, I mean, see if we look at the squad, Paddy, obviously we were at the game at Hampden. It was a great occasion. Very impressed with how we lined up, and everybody says they really pulled together and put in a really workmanlike but very, very professional and attack threat performance. Start to finish, it was fantastic. Just sort of reflecting on that lineup, regardless of what the manager says, is that what you're expecting pretty much exactly as we've seen at Hampden, or is there any slight tweaks? I saw a few folks saying they would go like we did against Atalanta, bringing in either from the start again, looking for that physicality, maybe trying to wear them down. And then, of course, there's the big debate of that centre three. Who's going to be joining, in the centre with McGregor? Is it going to be Engels? Is it going to be Bernardo? Or is it going to be Hatate? Is there any changes, any twists in the tail for you for the approach we're going to do tonight?
I think for me, first off, we'll start with the midfield. I think Engels is going to start. I think you're going out and you're buying a player of that calibre, you're paying that kind of cash. He's one of your Champions League players. I think he's got to be a starter in there. Yeah, he was slow to start against Aberdeen, but he come onto his game. And there is this side of him that knows the Bundesliga. He's played there, he's done it all before. Didn't really help him against Dortmund. He was like a deer in the headlights there. But listen, so were half the team, most of the team. But for me, I think Engels has to start. Then it's just a matter of, is it going to be Bernardo or Hatate? Now, Hatate covered himself in glory against Aberdeen.
Yep,
but
very good.
His consistency has been lacking. And I'm his biggest advocate. I love the guy to bits. I think when he's on his game, he's unplayable. You can't pick anybody over him. But for me, I think he'll probably get dropped, and I would probably say Bernardo will come in there, especially for the European games. We've seen it last season. We've seen Brendan going in and starting Bernardo in all of those games, even though he wasn't starting in the league. As for Ida up front, again, it worked well against Atalanta, and you had touched on it as well. It seemed to tire out the defence. They had a unit in there. They had something that they had to deal with that they weren't really comfortable with. And then coming off the back of that, you brought on Kyogo for the impact. Somebody that was going to go in there and actually make them chase him, make the runs that defenders absolutely hate, because we're going to have Dyson and we're going to have Kuhn doing that all day anyway. So these guys are going to be all over the place. I think the defence, by the time they get pretty tired, Kyogo's an impact player is going to be incredible. So I reckon Ida and Bernardo probably the only two changes for Saturday.
You've touched on obviously the defence, and a lot of people are bringing it in there. Of course, I would take that one there as well. So somebody saying like, there we go, McLaughlin saying he's taking 2-1 and trusted to score first. This is the thing. When we go in there, we're going to be playing against. We'll cover a wee bit of the RB Leipzig. Yeah. If you haven't already seen it, we'll cover some of it in here. But I, of course, done our standard opposition and focus. Yeah. Covered all the threats of the RB team that we're going to be up against. They're a slightly different proposition from some of the teams that we've played before. They are obviously a very well-oiled machine. Marco Rose has now been in there. He's a manager that we are familiar with. He's a very well thought of, highly thought of manager in European football circles. And one thing is he's a, much like we're hoping to get, or what had been hoping to get out of Ange Postecoglou, certainly hoping to get out of Rodgers this time round. He is a long-term manager. He sets out his stall. It might start off as a project. They went through some changes or some personnel changes, but similar to Dortmund and similar to basically every German team. They just have this great way of cultivating new talent, unearthing new gems. Yes, they're spending a fortune, but as I always say when you look at German teams, by comparison to some of our perhaps English footballing cohorts, they don't seem to spend over the odds, but always find gems, and they're in a real golden period for them in this side. Second in the Bundesliga, mate, and I actually think that they could push on and potentially be real serious contenders for this title. It maybe is a long overdue for Leipzig. I think they've had talent from seasons gone by, never quite been able to find that sweet spot. That shows you how good they are. 3 points off the drift from Bayern Munich at there, but they do have the best defensive record in that league as well. They're sitting there with a goal difference of +5, I believe, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but in the German league, to be sitting second with the best defensive record, well, that tells you what they're all about. How are we going to get the goals? People are saying trusty. We've seen the set piece. We saw the delivery that we're getting out of Engels. Organisation, it's going to be similar. It's going to be, for me, something I know it's a bit wishy-washy, a hybrid between what you get from Dortmund and what you got from Atalanta. Are they all swashbuckling? No, they're not. But they are very, to do a wee generic sort of cliche, German efficiency. They might not be the most flary and sort of tiki-taka type football inside, but they have a very drilled system. They're very precise. Everything that they do is purposeful, and that's something we're going to have to get in about. Is set pieces for you going to be something that you think is going to be a right decent attempt, or do you think we've got the skill and ability to just play our own way and break them with our runs?
Listen, we've got the speed, we've got the pace, let's be honest, we've got the firepower to get down that wing and get crosses into the box, and we've got players there that can score. Our goals are coming from everywhere. They're not just coming from a particular striker. You look at their record as well, most of the goals are coming for the two boys up front, like Steve-O highlighted. Our goals are coming from all over the pitch. Like you said, we're scoring goals. Carter Vickers, he's back on the scoring run. The balls that Engels is putting in the box are absolutely incredible. You touched on the German football there as well, Steve. It's kind of become, for me, the new Dutch football. If you look at previous years, I'm going back to kind of early 90s, early 2000s, when it was your Ajax coming through, and every single superstar seemed to come from the Dutch sector, Henrik included. Everyone that we seem to see coming into these bigger squads was all coming out of the Dutch football. Now it's German. It seems to have taken a turn like that. And all of the German sides, including Leipzig tonight, they've got quite a young squad. But like you said, they're drilled. They know exactly what they're doing, and they come in there and they're absolutely fantastic. And they're always at the latter stages in Europe. So it just shows you what we're up against.
Definitely. Well, I mean, in terms of, let's have a wee look at them, just a wee gloss over the form. Bundesliga, as I say, played 9, 6 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. The loss came most recently, 2-1. They went down to Borussia Dortmund. Sometimes coming off the back of a loss is good for the team playing them, but at the same time, that coupled with the fact that they are 3 games and 3 losses in the Champions League, they're probably going to be something of a hurting bull, a red bull with a red face so far in this competition. 20 points, 15 goals, assists, 5 against. My apologies, they're +10, very, very positive. Best defence in the league. So it says, looking at the Champions League form, this is the beauty about this format, Paddy. They've played 3 games. They've had 3 losses, quite narrow. They went down to Atletico Madrid 2-1, 3-2 to Juventus they lost, and of course 1-0 to Liverpool. Now, we looked at some of our fixtures and thought, Atalanta, Dortmund, Leipzig tonight, that's murder. I'd rather that we had than that start that they've got. But just showing you, if you look back at those highlight reels of those games, which I'm sure you've seen them as well, they were good value for money in the games, and they probably could have been in a similar position to ourselves where they could have had, 4 points or more in some of them. Fine margins, mate.
The thing is, against Atletico, I think they had the post in the game against Atletico. That could have finished a draw. The game against Juve, that was side to side. That was an incredible match, and they played really, really well. They were incredible going forward. Few mistakes at the back that Juventus obviously highlighted and what's the word? Exploited. Yeah. That's the one. They went in there and exploited all of that. So, listen, they've been unlucky. They're currently sitting on 0 points, nil points, as you call it. But like Steve-O said, they're a wounded animal. and they're going to be coming out here after another defeat. We're going in full of confidence, beat our nearest rival 6-0. We're going in absolutely raring to go, thinking that we're going to go in here and pull out another fantastic performance. Let's hope we can. Let's hope they are a wounded animal. Let's hope they kind of come at us and try something different and get caught out.
And the thing is, Paddy, looking at this format, as I say, come back to the format itself. This is why it's a great thing, because teams like RB Leipzig now, all right, they're 3 games in, they'll be looking at us tonight and they'll probably be thinking, this is our chance. This is the first opportunity that we've got to get points on the board. Yes. And they'll not be looking at going to Celtic Park for the draw. They'll be looking to go for the win. Of course, I dare say if you offered them to go to Celtic Park, having experienced it previously, knowing what they're going to be up against, knowing the atmosphere, if you offered them the quiet, you want to take the draw, they'd probably shake your hand and walk away. Don't make any mistake. Don't let them fool you, despite the size of them and despite their status. But they'll be looking at this and thinking, this is a game that we can get our teeth into. They can get some points on the board. And really, as you say, it's down to ourselves. It's all about playing our game plan. As the comments are saying in there, is what they're saying, it's all about trying to find that fine balance, keeping it tight. It is cliches, but in European football, and we saw it against Atalanta, settle yourself into the game. That first 15 to 20 minutes, you bed yourself in, get a foothold on the match, suss out, feel out your opponent. I always describe it for a boxing analogy as being like, if you watch Floyd Mayweather, for example, he usually gives the team 2-3 rounds where he just rolls the punches, he absorbs the information and knows how to attack it. For me, as it's been said in some of the commenters there, yes, there'll be this maybe expectation that we should be hammer and tongs straight out of traps and on fire. Yet the temptation, we just need to edge it back a wee bit. As I said, like when we played Atalanta, we didn't sacrifice our principles. We didn't park the bus. It was just giving yourself that extra 5 yards on your press before being fully committed and caught out. And I think if we can get through, ride the lightning, because they will come at us and we'll get on to some of their key guys. If we can get ourselves on the foot, front foot, first 20, 25 minutes, maybe sneak a goal within the first half an hour, I think that will really settle the nerves. It will really let us grow into it. And here we'll look at those attacking guys. We'll look at what's happening with Kuhn. We'll look at what's happening with Maeda. They are going to be absolutely pivotal, not just going forward, but also as we look at the threat, doing that defensive work. It's going to be a big ask for some of the guys. Obviously, you highlighted and you've been singing his praise ever since. Trusty, fantastic against Atalanta. It's going to be more of the same. More of the same tonight. He's going to be on it. Carter Vickers, it's a real step up for him to come back from his injury. If you any concerns about that, the fact that, yes, he's been dropped back into games, but this is several levels above, and we're going to be putting him straight back in tonight, no doubt about it.
Listen, this is a different animal to Atalanta as well. Atalanta were more balls into the box and winning headers. Leipzig aren't like that. Openda, who you commented on, you spoke about him. This guy's rapid. We thought Adeyemi was quick for Dortmund. This guy Openda, like Steve said when he done his preview show, he's honestly shit off a stick. To be fair, this boy is absolutely rapid, and he's going to try and get in behind all the time. And I think having somebody like Austin Trusty in there, he's good at winning balls in the air, but he does have a ton of pace. Carter Vickers will use his footballing brain. He's in there, he's got that experience. He's not got the ton of pace that he used to have. He's quick enough, but he's going to use the footballing head. And if we play a kind of higher line against these guys, then I think there's a possibility of that working. But again, that has to be well drilled. You need to have your full back line involved in that. I think Vickers and Trusty is a go-to. No harm to Liam Scales, the guy's done incredible in there. But I think the guys have got enough in the tank to deal with the Leipzig press.
No, definitely. The thing is, again, just touch on the personnel coming in. Is there a few wrongs to be put right, for example? I don't want to trade it up because we're all scared by it, but particularly when we look at that Dortmund result, there was guys that were getting a wee bit of flack there. I always thought that when we had Vi coming in to side, improve things. Engels had a bit of a stinker. Coming from the German league, I dare say if Celtic are coming up in conversation, Nicholas Kuhn will be coming up based on where he's came from, and obviously being German himself. And of course, Engels will be brought up as well, simply because he's the reference point to someone that they've played against. And they'll look at that Dortmund result and they'll probably commented on the German media. So has he got some rights to put wrong? Has he got some wrongs to put right? Sorry, and make an amends there. And again, that's the one thing for me. Alex Vahi has kicked on. I think he's silenced a lot of people. For me, the game against Aberdeen at Hampden really was a coming to the front. He's shown that he's got that attacking prowess, but defensively, mate, he can muck in, and we're going to need absolutely every single ounce of that. Defensively, we're coming to this at a really good stage because we've got a real resurgent Alistair Johnson, back to best form, quite, arguably. Trusty, really proving that he's got it. Carter Vickers back in, as we say, is the rock. It's been highlighted by Brown Warrior. Schmeichel in the sticks, absolutely solid. He offers everything for shot stopping to distribution, but now Vi coming into it as well. Are we at a good stage defensively? Better than we were getting into Atalanta, better than we were getting into it against Dortmund.
Like you said, we're learning. Brendan's noticed it. We've noticed it. Each game as it's going on this season, we're getting better. The players are getting this chemistry between them, and they're starting to see how each other play. Alistair Johnson, incredible. But you've got Nicholas Kuhn coming back helping him as well. And again, you've got Vi at the back. You've got Maeda coming back to help him. At the Aberdeen game, we've seen Maeda running all the way back 80 yards to put in a tackle after they lost the ball. And that's what you need. You need your forward-thinking players to go, wait a minute, I need to get back here and defend. Your Arnie Engels, your Hatate and everybody else to be in there breaking up the play, because a lot of Leipzig's play is going to come through the middle of the park. We know that. We know how they play. We've watched, we've analysed them. We've seen how they act in these kind of games. So for me, your guys at the back are going to be pivotal. And you spoke about Kuhn and Engels having a wee point to prove. Kuhn come up against German opposition. I don't know, is he looking at maybe getting into the German squad at some point? Is that something that's maybe on his radar? If he has a blinder tonight against Leipzig, it puts him in that limelight, doesn't it? It puts him on that radar, essentially. Arnie Engels, the big price tag, we thought, do something against Dortmund. Didn't quite work out for us, but coming in here tonight, I think Arnie Engels, if he starts, he's going to be your man that's going to... he's going to be the game changer.
Pin your colours to the mast, you say that?
I'd say Arnie Engels is going to be the man of the match in there. I think he's going to be the guy that
that
puts in the performance, that puts it in. He needs to do it. Let's be honest. He's the guy. He's your trophy boy. He's your marquee signing this season. Now, if you're going to put in a performance and you do it against essentially the best team that we've had come to Celtic Park in this Champions League.
Second team, but they're certainly going to be up there. They're going to be better than, no disrespect to them, Bruges. They're going to be better than Bratislava. They're going to be better than Young Boys. So in terms of, the test at Celtic Park, they're going to be the best that we're going to see.
So this is where Arnie Engels, for me, has to step up. You have the Celtic crowd behind him, as we do. The Celtic fans are absolutely fantastic, and I've got no issues whatsoever. I firmly believe that we'll turn out in force, and we will support that team to within everything that they do. And for me, Arnie Engels is going to be the man to come on top.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they line up. Of course, as I covered it, they do have some injury woes. Now, of course, as we always know, take these with a pinch of salt. Some of them don't take your salt, because they are as injured as an injured thing. They're no coming back, right? Now, this will be the best comeback since Lazarus, if they were to do it. Do you know what I mean? Lazarus, take that. George Foreman, there are other great comebacks, but these guys aren't going to be coming back. And so there's some of them that are very, very good for us. Of course, the best one for us is the fact that Xavi Simons is not in the side, because look at him, 23-24, 10 goals, 15 assists, and he was in the 11 games that he played so far this season, 3 goals and 2 assists. Absolute huge output, a massive chunk for them, and that is one that I am glad to see the back of.
Mate, I totally agree with you. I had him in my dream team for the Euros. Incredible. What a player. Scored some absolute worldies in there as well. Everything for the Holland squad seemed to come through the guy, so that's kind of where I'm gauging him from. What a loss. He is a massive, massive loss for them. So, I'm quite happy with that.
No, definitely. But then there's also some problems that they've got defensively. Now, as we say, they've got the best defensive record in the Bundesliga, so the alternative options are clearly not that bad. But there's one in particular, and that's Davis Ram, left back. Now, you might look at a left back and say, oh, you know what, okay, it's part of the machine at the back. Is he going to be that instrumental? Well, from a defensive standpoint, yes, but I'm looking at attacking threat, and it's huge. Looking at him, he's got an ankle injury. Highly unlikely he's going to make it as a season, unless by some sort of miracle. 9 games he got, and then he get injured. So he has missed a substantial chunk of games up to this point. Just looking at what he brought last season, though, he chipped in with 3 goals, but also 13 assists. So just looking at that there, Simmons and him, you've taken out the best bit of 38, 39, 40 odd
goal chances,
goal involvements,
Yeah.
both assisting and scoring. And look, it's scant consolation with the quality they've got, but he's another guy that's sweat off.
You touched on it as well. Obviously, I've said before, they're a Champions League quality side. They've got like for like in every position, and we spoke about bringing that in. We've got our right back position. If Alistair Johnson's injured tonight, we start with Tony Ralston. Now, again, Tony does what he does, but he's not the same quality as Alistair Johnson. Now, these guys, Ram is out, yes, but again, they will start a player of a similar stature. Might not have the numbers that Ram's got, but he'll be of similar stature. And that's what these teams do. Steve said about it before. They churn out these players. They just keep bringing them and bringing them and bringing them. And one player comes off, another comes on of the same quality. And that's what you're up against. It's a different level at this game. You're not going to get that 3 seconds on the ball, 4 seconds on the ball that you get in the SPL. You're going to have 1, maybe 2 seconds on the ball before you get somebody at your arse taking it off you.
Well, and that's the thing. And there's some also creeping in. Obviously, Xavi Simmons is the big one as well. There's another midfielder, Javier Slater. He's missing there from as well. He was our mainstay last season, of course. He was sitting in alongside Amadou Haidara, both centre midfielders. You know, we see the benefits of having a regular and functioning midfield partnership. To take one of them out there, you know, when we look at the profile of Haidara, he's a guy that's going to be getting in. He's going to be, that's where our midfielders and how we line up is going to be key. We always tend to leave McGregor further back in that number 6. Now, we know that he's not a classic number 6. We've learned from previously playing the 2-8s and being too far advanced. This is where he's going to be needing a wee bit more because, yes, Cal McGregor can be a bit tenacious in the tackle, but Haidara is everything like that. That's the kind of guy he is, breaking up the play, doing the dirty work and getting on. Now, you have Schläger away out the side there. Again, very similar in profile, but also a goal threat as well. Thinking about 8 assists last season, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when he is basically essentially a more sort of sitting type midfielder, it's decent return. And as I say, they'll be going for another slightly adapted midfield pairing. It won't be quite wholesale surgery, but another positive, another to get out. But Haidara, how are we going to combat that? And then again, if you're looking at his combative style and the way that he puts himself around, does that change your thinking? Because as I say, if you look at our midfielders, really none of them are that hard in the tackle. We're quite clever and quite cute. We'll steal the ball off you, but we could be in a bit of a dogfight with them.
If it's going to be that type of dogfight, then for me it would be Rio Hatate. He's strong. He's not the best in a tackle, let's be honest. He's not one of these guys that's going to win the ball all the time, but he is a lot stronger for me than Bernardo. You spoke about Bernardo. He's like a mountain goat, Steve said. And do you know what he is? He's small in stature, but he's brilliant with his feet. He's brilliant on his feet. Bernardo, for me, is slightly better going forward with the ball. Hatate, for me, is better at kind of holding up the play and distributing the ball and breaking it up. So for me, if it's going to be a bit of a dogfight in there, then I would rather start with Rio Hatate and obviously have Callum in there to break up. And you spoke about that as well, about their midfield being a bit chop and change and here and there. We're kind of the same because out of our players that we've got in there, we can't tell you who's going to start.
Yeah, true.
I mean, we can't look at that and say, well, yeah, that's definitely going to be the midfield 3 because we've got so much talent in there. And it's a good headache to have if you're the manager. He'll be looking at that game going, right, he does this, he does this, he does this. My best bet is having this.
Yep.
So let's just hope that Brendan picks the right squad and that the players all turn up and produce the goods.
And hopefully nobody knows the squad because I didn't get no text last night, so that's probably a good thing, and the manager addressed that. Yeah. This is what we're talking about. As we said previously, we don't like to see these things happen. You maybe get sent a message and you go, all right, that's good. Keep it, shut it, don't mention it. It is what it is. But the manager rightfully says, hopefully that's something that's been getting looked at, because it's games like tonight, Paddy.
Yeah.
It's games like tonight where we're looking and we're second guessing how are Leipzig going to line up because of these injuries. Well, do you know what? It'd be a massive benefit if we got that text through saying there's a Leipzig team, isn't it?
100%, 100%. I sent a text last night to the person who I normally get the team from, and I says, have I not got the team? And he says, no, it hasn't been given to me. And I says, well, that's fine. I hope Luis Palma's been sacked for releasing it.
I'm blaming the Baniac, mate.
That's Scott Bain, yeah. Scott Bain's been releasing it.
I blame Scott Bain.
Yeah, we had a kind of laugh about it, but like Steve says, it's good. Keep the opposition guessing. I'm sure people will have their ideas of this and whatever. And you know what? It is nice to know the squad. It's nice to see who you're getting before it comes out an hour before the game, especially if you guys are out there and you're going, right, I'm going to stick Trusty on to score first. What if he doesn't start? What if he goes with Liam Scales? Do you get your bet refunded quick enough so that you can put it on? I don't know. I'm not an expert in these
gamble
kind of
responsibly.
Please gamble responsibly.
Paddy, let's crack on to the threats, because there is many threats.
Yes.
And look, it doesn't get any easier. Last time round it was Rategi. We managed to keep him nice and quiet. And what was actually really good, we commented on that game and how well we played. That pragmatic approach, we completely altered the way that they had to play. Atalanta resorted to big hoofing crosses into the box that our defenders were just eating up all day long. They were bringing off their top prize striker because it just wasn't working. Unfortunately, with them, there's two of them. Yeah. They played us almost...
I said 4-4-2.
It's like a thing of the past. 4-4-2. Remember 4-4-2?
Yeah. It was the go-to, wasn't it? Go-to formation.
Exactly. 4-4-2, but it isn't 4-4-2 as you would remember it for the 90s Premier League. It's an adaptation. It's like anything. It lines up like that, but it's fluid. It moves, overloads into midfield, pushing forward, in possession, essentially ending up with three up front at times. Everybody's moving. It's, one big moving part with many pieces to it. Two guys, and mate, you're going to have to tell me how we're going to deal with them. I'll start off with Luis Abenya, Belgium centre forward, and as I says, part of this new resurgent Belgian setup, he is going to be now, for me at least, looking to be the new poster boy striker for them moving forward. Young, he's at a great stage of his development. He had an absolute cracking season last season, 28 goals, mate, 28 goals, 7 assists and 48 appearances, and he also clocked in 4 goals and 8 in the Champions League. So he is every single bit a European Champions League striker. He started hot again this season, 6 goals, 2 assists. And as I says, if you've watched Belgium, you've seen him in or out, you know what you're getting out. This guy, fast, quick, good close control, instinctive finisher. And again, might not be the biggest in stature, might not be the most physical, but that in itself creates a different proposition for our back guys, because they're good at physical battles, winning duels, but he's not going to be the type of striker that's backing at you. He's going to be on your shoulder, and that's where turn of pace and the return at least to Vickers for me is going to be something, because Trusty's getting there, but that quick turn of pace to get in behind, Vickers has it much better, I'd say. Yeah, 100%. This guy plays a kind of Kyogo role. He does all the runs off the defenders, like Steve says. He's not going to be up there for the physical battle because he's quite slim in stature. He's a powerful enough player. He's still got a bit about him, but he's not going to be fighting with Vickers and Trusty, because that's a losing battle, let's be honest. So he's going to be playing on the corners, playing on the line, just basically running across that line and trying to make the space, make the runs for him. Let the guys in behind him produce the magic like we look for as well. Like Steve said, his goal contributions last year, 35 goal contributions last year. Now, that's absolutely incredible when you look at the amount of games that he's played as well. So he's scoring or assisting every 1.3 games or something like that. The guy's going out there. He's one of these guys that gets involved. He comes looking for the ball. Champions League, mate. Now, you remember the teams that they were playing. Yeah, some of them weren't great. Man City were the outstanding candidate, Red Star and Young Boys. Of course, put out by eventual winners, Real Madrid. So a bit of a sort of mixed bag in what they were playing against. But still, we talking about our strikers and talking about how goals in the Champions League matter. Yeah. Well, do you know what? He's got 4 last season. Yeah. And he's only going to be kicking on to that as well. Of course he is. Of course he is. And you talk about having that
Champions League quality, and it's something that I think we lacked. Although we got a few goals here and there, it's something that I don't think we produced. We weren't producing enough chances in the Champions League football, and we've started to do that now. So this guy, yeah, listen, he does the job. He's one of these guys. He's fast. He knows where the goal is. He's just an all-round incredible player. Like Steve says, he's playing for Belgium. He's going to be the next Romelu Lukaku, but when he was good.
When he was good, there you go.
Something like that.
I mean, I still should do a job for most teams, but there you go. But as I say, he's also got a partner in crime. Much like I've got yourself as a partner in crime here. Benjamin Sesko, the problems continue, mate. Another guy so far, despite their losing efforts, he's scored 3 goals so far in this Champions League campaign. Opena's the boy with the heavier goal tally, but it seems like Sesko so far is the guy that's turning on for them on this stage. Last season, he was 42 appearances, 18 goals, 2 assists, but again, like I've says with some of the other players, he started hot this season as well. He's got 7 goals and 3 assists so far, but as I says, 3 of them are in the Champions League, and as I says, and look at the opposition that they were playing against. So he'll be fancying these chances. Again, no disrespect to our guys, I have full confidence in them, but he won't be looking at Carter Vickers, Trusty and the likes at the back and thinking they're any harder to get past or put the ball in the net versus what he has played against.
Exactly. If we concentrate too much on Openda, your man's going to do the job, isn't he? You've got to treat them both with the same sort of respect. He's going out there, he's scoring goals as well. He's been their Champions League go-to guy. And I think that's probably because other sides have seen the impact that Openda's made last season and kind of concentrated on him a little bit. And then that's where he's got in here and scored the goals. Steve spoke about his goal contribution as well. Pretty much 1 and 2. Now, give me the odds in the oil business, he'll be a rich man. So the guy obviously, again, knows where the goal is. And I think our players need to be on top notch. We really need to get the knuckles down and basically grind this one out.
And that's the thing, I've seen the name come up a few times, and McLaughlin West Messmers, of course, Baumgartner, plays for Austria, he's regular on the scoring. He'll be down that right-hand side for them, of course. It'll be him more than likely on the right, it'll be Nusa over on the left. As you say, we've looked at him as well, Norwegian left winger. Again, decent enough start for him. So far, 3 goals, 3 assists in these 18 games. Maybe not as potent a threat, but both of those wingers do have more than, spades of ability to get in. But as we touched on, that's where the partnership, the joint up thinking between particularly Kuhn and Johnson, that work rate's going to come in. And I have no concerns of them being able to nullify their man, and likewise the partnership that seems to be getting struck up with Vai and Maeda. So for me, I think if we can force them narrow and we can try and nullify some of that, sort of wing play from them, we maybe have a better chance. Of course, we've sampled the strikers there, and it doesn't matter if it's crossed into them or through the middle. They've got the movement, they've got the ability. But I always feel that when you narrow the game from an attacking standpoint, it gives you a far better chance. And probably that's something for me that I think we're going to have to look to try and do, mate.
I think against Atalanta, we nullified the middle of the park, so that they had to play wide and they had to get the balls into the box that way, and that played into our favour, having Carter Vickers and Trusty in there. I think this game is a little bit different. I think we need to kind of nullify the middle of the park, like they're saying Baumgartlinger and a few other guys in there, and get them to put the ball out to the wings, because I think balls coming into the box again, I think Carter Vickers and Trusty are going to be able to deal with that. But I think you kind of bring them into the middle of the park and we deal with it in there. We've got the pace on the outside to catch them out. So I think
that's worth bringing in, because obviously we're sitting and having a look, we're talking about the guys, obviously we're just broadly covering everything with the game here and looking at the threats and the dangers. We are going to talk about the positives that we've got and what we have been doing. And as Alan says there, yes, concentrating on what they do is only part of it. Let's
100%.
focus on what we can bring to the party and what we can offer. For me, we've been scoring goals all over the pitch, as you says. We'll look at that game at the weekend. That was, a love letter self-penned by Kuhn and Maeda. It was one of the best duo acts that I've seen in a long, long time. And looking at, as it says, the defensive reshuffle that they are going to have to go. They're going to have deputies coming in, very ample, very suited and capable deputies, but deputies nonetheless. For me, those two wingers and what they put out, we're going to need a similar performance to what we've seen against Aberdeen. Yes, the midfield's engine room, that's where things seem to go, but we have been getting all our success this season down the wings, and they will know that, so there's no doubt in my mind that they'll be looking to target those guys and shut them down at source. But for me, then that brings into the question, and I want to bring it up because it's been said in the comments, some are saying start Ida. I asked you and you said perhaps no. Is that a different option? Should we go with Ida?
I think
should we be going with Ida?
I think Ida should start. I think you go with that. I think you go with the same team that started against Atalanta. I really do. Ida caused them different. It gives you a different option. If it's not working down the wings, then we go to Steve-O's old favourite, the chaos ball. We get it over the top. Big man will trap it, bring it down, and he's got runners in behind him. Dies Maeda, Nicholas Kuhn. These guys have got shitloads of pace to burn. They're going to be bombing it down there. If they try and nullify Nicholas Kuhn, you're going to have Alistair Johnson doing his telepathy overlap.
The question I want to ask you though, Paddy, is just to bring into it, we always talk about taking your chances, right? Now we've said we didn't have too many. We had flashes in Atalanta, but that was about result first and foremost. So you will take that. Dortmund, we forget it. It was next to nothing basically. When we look at how we played against Bratislava, we're not going to get that same luxury. I think we'll get the ins, but also what I'm saying here is when you look back at that game, we scored a lot of goals, but we also passed up a lot of opportunities. Now, you will not get that same chance where you miss one, you miss two, you're going to get guaranteed a third. Not so much in this game here. So just for me, based on, he scored at the weekend, but Kyogo can be wasteful. That's no disrespect to him. He is one of our best strikers and has been a talisman for seasons gone by. He deserves all the credit today and he is a top player. But would you be concerned he has slightly wastefulness in front of goal at this level against this kind of opposition, despite being at home?
Yeah, yes and no. Kyogo does shitloads off the ball. He's always making space. He's always running into these spaces and dragging other players out of the way, which then frees up positions for Kuhn, Maeda, these other guys, playmakers to get on the ball and do a bit. Ida is more direct. You're more likely to get, if you give them 3 chances in front of goal, I would say my money would be on Ida to convert more of them.
I mean, obviously Santoy's saying there that they're not the same thing. In his opinion, says he can't lace his boots. I think you've got to look at it and say, he's a far superior striker at this moment in time. It's about debate. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's just sort of swirling around the options, as it says. The one thing that just for me that I have slight reservations over is that Kyogo can pass up opportunities. And I really don't know how many opportunities will present. And for me, I just... And to be fair, I think that's... Even looking at Ida and Kyogo, they are fantastic strikers, but we've never really had that same total killer instinct where you take more than you miss. I think both of them have got this tendency to miss a few before they convert. And that's for me just... I would go... My heart would tell me to go with Kyogo. And that's hoping that we're going to be playing the smart balls, checking these runs and trying to get in behind. We'll need to see how they show up. Looking at their defensive record, easier said than done. So perhaps a change of approach might be in order because let's face it, no disrespect to our strikers, no disrespect to any of our players, they will have played against more potent attacks and been able to deal with that domestically.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I think Ida starts. I think Ida's going to come in there to do the same thing he done against Atalanta, to rough up the defenders so that then Kyogo can come on and do the impact stuff like he'd done. Because you had said about it, when Ida was on, he done the ball, he trapped the ball in, he played the balls to the side and everything else. Didn't do much of an attacking sense, which is probably, that's what you want for your striker. You want goals for your strikers and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yes, of course you do. Of course you want your strikers to be scoring goals. But you know what? I don't actually care where the goals come from. See if I have a striker finish on 0 goals in a season, and yet we win the league and we've got goals for all round about him, and he's contributed to that. He's made a difference. He's made one of the passes or here and there. I'm happy
You
with
see,
that.
I think that's something as well. But when we have this discussion, we've got to take into mind, right? And you mentioned the last time, we're looking at the striker and saying we're getting him on the pitch because we want him to take chances and score goals. But they offer two different things, as we saw against Atalanta. Ida, for me, was getting flack that was, unwarranted.
Yeah.
Yes, times the ball would bounce off him, control was poor and it'd go out. But for every time that happened, he would hold up the ball, he'd maybe win a foul, or he'd get challenged and the ball get poked out. He'd advance you up the pitch. He wore them down, he made them tired. So then when we made those substitutions, we did get a wee bit of chances. Didn't take them, but we got the chances.
Yeah.
However, you look at Kyogo, if he's not scoring, yes, he might pass up opportunity, but that tiresome movement, he pulls folk away, he creates opportunity, and he gives us that wee gap to get those shots off, get in behind. And that's probably, for my money, looking at this game tonight, I'm going to be wrong because I'm always going to be wrong. That's the way it is. I think we're more than likely to score from Maeda, for example. Someone like Maeda, someone like Nicholas Kuhn, than Ida or Kyogo. That's just my reading it because of that exact reason. I think the strikers will be preoccupying and they'll be so focused on taking out the striker that they might forget those around them.
Yeah, and that's what we hope will happen. Listen, we'd love to see the strikers go in there tonight and prove us wrong. Kyogo go in and bag in a hat-trick. How good would that be? Listen, it is what it is. It's one of the debates. Nobody's going to be right. You can come in the chat there as well, and people have been in the chat and saying, Adam Ida couldn't trap a bag of cement, he couldn't do this, he's blah blah, his second touch is a tackle, he's got a turning circle at an Arctic lorry, things like that. Well, I've heard them all. Do you know what? The big guy, he's got a big price tag on his head, and again, he's one of these players like Arne Engels. He's one of these players that's got to prove himself.
Yep.
And I think if you're going to do it, you're going to do it in the big nights. He comes in there tonight and has an incredible performance and bangs in a couple of goals.
Yep.
Everybody forgets about the poor performances they're supposed to do.
Paddy, let's bring it all home. Let's wrap up. Let's go through a predicted 11. Right, let's Kasper Schmeichel straight up.
Yep.
Back four, exact same. Any changes there?
Yeah. Back four, Valle, Carter, Vickers, Trusty, Johnson.
Yep. Straight in the midfield. We know it's going to be Kuhn. We know it's going to be Maeda.
Yeah.
It's going to be McGregor.
Yes.
Come on. Put your money on the table. Show us the colour of your money. Who are going to be sitting alongside him and why? Why are you choosing one over the other, mate?
For me, Arne Engels, because I said it before, I think Arne has the chance to prove his price tag, the chance to get that relationship with the Celtic fans, to let them see what he can do. He's been one of these guys who he's not hit the ground running as we expected. We got the big price tag and we expected him to come in there and absolutely fire on and be incredible, like another Matt O'Reilly. We're not comparing to Matt O'Reilly. He's a different type of animal. I think tonight's his night. Said it before. Alongside him, obviously, Callum McGregor, no-brainer. And I go Bernardo.
You're going over Hatate? You were
Hatate.
talking about that energy, you're talking about that grit. Why are you going for Bernardo then?
I just think in this type of game, I did speak about Hatate bringing in for the defensive side of it, but I just think it's going to be more suited to Bernardo for going forward. I think defensively wise, we're sound in there, we'll be all right. I think Bernardo to give us that extra attacking chance in there. I don't know about you. What's your thoughts for the middle?
Yeah, I'm kind of in a rock and a hard place. I've always championed Bernardo, and I've always said that I would play Hatate in the games where I expect us to get far more of the ball and far more opportunity. I think I would start with Bernardo to, as I say, come back to what I say about riding the line and getting your foot in the ball, settling into the match. I think he does that better than Hatate. Hatate's all action, and we know he can be erratic. And I just feel that could be a wee slight wobble that could wobble his confidence if he's having one of those sort of early games. And it's easier to... We highlighted the fight of both him and Engels in the semi-final, where they had shaky starts, but they grew into it. But I think at this level, when it's 100 mile an hour, and I'm coming back to the comments that the manager made in his press conference, where he commented on how things turned so badly and so quickly for us against Dortmund. He says the game just got away from us too quickly and too early. And for me, that's no disrespect to Hatate. I have been singing his praises for that performance against Aberdeen, and I think he's coming back to form. I just feel that if he has one of those erratic starts, that it could lead the game getting away from him too quickly and harder for him to pull himself back into it.
Yeah, you don't get chances. at this level. You don't get a rest for 20 minutes like we did against Aberdeen the other night there. So for me, it's got to be, like Snitch says there, Bernardo is the man to start for me. 100%.
And are you going to stick in your reader? Because I'm going to say Kyogo, despite what I says, I think looking at the record, looking at how he's been in Champions League at home, recent form, for me, you've got to start him. And I think as well, if we're going to try and break down this defence, we're going to have to be a wee bit more intelligent than direct.
For me, I'm going to go Ida. I really am. We disagree on it for a change.
It's all right to disagree.
Of course it is. We'll see who's right. What we're going to do is we're going to stick a wee offshore bet on it.
This is the infamous Marabou. This is this weird chocolate that he gets out in the middle of the North Sea. So we're gambling a Marabou.
Going to stick a
responsible gambling.
Going to stick a Marabou on it. When we're offshore, any bets that you put on, I bet you a Marabou. So I won a lot of Marabous when I was on the rig. So I'm going to stick one of my Marabous on the line, and I'm going to go Ida starts up front over Kyogo for me. So there you go. You'll see who gets it.
He's my Marabou now. No, Paddy also says very, very positive. That's how I think it's going to work out. I think it's looking positive going into this game. I think we've just got to do our thing. Yeah. If we keep the head, if we keep it tight, then there's absolutely no reason why we can't get it. It sounds stupid to ask you, but what does a good match tonight, what does a good result look like for you? Of course, Steve, what are you talking about? Win, obviously, right? But we said about what did a good result look like against Atalanta, and for many it was don't get scudded. Yeah. Is tonight for you, despite, even though it's at home, is a good result for you a draw minimum? Minimum. Yeah. Or are you going full greed and say the only good result is a win?
Celtic Park. Listen, it's at Celtic Park. For me, it's a win. I don't care who comes to Celtic Park. I'm always going to be hoping for the win. I've been there. I've witnessed it. Barcelona, AC Milan, Juventus, Lazio. I've been there. I've seen it. We've demolished a lot of them. And I am quite happy to be in there tonight, to put my hands up and say, do you know what? I think we'll beat them. I'm confident that we'll come out of that game. I'm not going to say my 4-0. I would love to have the confidence. I'm sure 420 will call me a shite bag again. But listen, mate, that's absolutely fine. I'll take it. I'm going to say 2-1, possibly 3-1 if we can get out of the traps quick.
I agree. You know, my head is saying 1 each. It's saying tight. It's saying a draw. And listen, hey, I'd take a draw right now. Yeah. If I could have 5 points after 4 games, strong, I think that's that. I'm just looking at the factor. It's not because I don't believe in us. I have full belief and confidence in this team. And I think for me, that's only been brought on further, not by how we've been playing domestically, but how we approach the Atalanta game. If we can find that sweet spot again with a wee bit more attacking prowess, using the home advantage, then I have full confidence that we can go and do this. I am thinking I would bite your hand off for a draw, because as I says, the matches against Dortmund, the matches against, Atalanta, and tonight, for example, Leipzig, these weren't going to be the games that were going to determine or shape our Champions League fate. Mm-hmm. There was other fish to fry. I'm looking at you, Zagreb. I'm looking at Young Boys at Bern. I'm looking at Bruges. Yeah. Those were the ones that I was looking at. For me, these games are a chance for you to give a good account of yourself, put down a marker, and points could be bonuses. So I think that, my head's telling me 1 each, but my heart says we could just sneak it. We could sneak it 2-1, because I do think I just can't see by that attackers that they've got and how they've been playing to see them not getting a goal. But I don't think that we will crumble. I don't see it. Not at home, not with the fight, not with the determination, not the way the manager's got us playing, mate.
Celtic to win, both teams to score, 5-1, I believe. Lumping.
Absolutely. Well, you know what went inside my head, 1 each, but I'm the eternal realist. Yeah. I love my club and I'm passionate, but at the same time, I don't just have blind faith because it's the thing to do. I have to look at the optics, I have to look at what's in front of me and have a realist approach. But I'm more than confident, and I think here's the point. I think if we score early, then it could be a completely different game. And head and heart, both out the window, I think it could be a dynamite, memorable night at Celtic Park. If we can get an early goal, put the fear into them, shake them early, we'll only grow in confidence. It all depends on how we approach this one, Paddy.
Dare we say it? Remember the 5th of November.
Well,
Can you imagine?
there might be fireworks at Celtic Park. Well, there'll be fireworks in the crowd though, because the manager mentioned it. Oh, we're going to see it. He says we've got that. Pending suspended ban hanging over the top. Is look, it's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. You look at, who was it, River Plate's game, was it, or something?
I mean, I looked at a bin fire.
That was absolute madness. Can you imagine doing something like that in the Champions League? You'd be kicked out. You'd be banned for life. There's going to be flares. There's going to be a few fireworks here and there. Of course there is. It's just part and parcel. Do I agree with it? No. Does it make a good spectacle? Yes. At Hampden, that CFC was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
But again, delayed the game a little bit, and it's probably going to bring us a fine. I'm sure that.
Oh, wait, listen, but at Hampden, the Aberdeen end of nil, right? And I saw them chopping flares into the concourse. So let's not be having any of that. That was not a Celtic fault problem. That was a dual-sided issue there. So don't let the media tell you that big bad Celtic were the ones causing the issues.
Yeah, that's it.
But it'll be fireworks outside the stadium. There'll be flares. There'll be pyro on the way to the stadium, probably inside it. Hopefully there's fireworks on the pitch. We'll be here to cover that anyway. Listen, we're going to crack on. Thank you to everybody who's taking the time out your day to come and join us, because we know the big boys are on and all. We know the big boys are on. You can go and listen to them, and there's many good Celtic content out there. Just if you happen to be having to make a choice, make Celtic World Order your choice if you're forced between us. But as we say, no, at the end of the day, if people are taking the time to create Celtic content, make sure that you support it, because essentially podcasts and things, they are redundant without people following and watching. So we are grateful to every single one of you who's joined us today. Subscribe to the channel. Everybody has shown us the support since we kicked off this podcast. We've thoroughly enjoyed it. There's more to come, Paddy, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, 100%, guys. And I done a little bonus ball the other day for a signed Lubomir Moravchuk top, and every single person who donated to that, I want to say thank you. We managed to raise a few quid off that, and what I'm going to do is me and Steve are going to go shopping. There is a Christmas appeal that's been set up by a guy I know called Brian Ellis, who works for Ellis Decor. It's his own company, and every single year this guy does a Christmas drive and gets Christmas presents in for kids that don't have anything. No kid should wake up at Christmas with nothing. So listen, we're going to do our part, and we're going to make a massive donation to them. So any of you guys in the chat as well, if you've got anything, toys out there that you...
Yeah, but what we'll do is the Christmas toy drive. We're local guys, Coatbridge, and every single year the Coatbridge near the area, they do this toy drive. Donate toys, brand new toys, get delivered, and they all get farmed out to underprivileged kids within our local area. As we say, we've done the bonus ball, we raised some money, we're going to be throwing that into the pot as well. We're also working on something else. Hopefully that will come to fruition. If we get it, then we'll obviously let you know about it. You'll be the first to know. But we are quietly behind the scenes, not necessarily as part of Celtic World Order, just for ourselves, trying to work alongside that. But hopefully we'll have something that we can bring to the channel, and we'll see and try and get people involved, because we want to try and help out folk in our area that don't have so much. But anyway, that's enough of sob stories, because we want a positive story tonight. Nothing is going to get the mood down tonight.
Bring the fireworks.
Bring it on. Bring on the fireworks. Bring back the thunder, as Larry once says. And hopefully we'll be sitting here at the end of it, mate, with big smiles on our coupons and talking about a positive result. So wherever you are tonight, watching the game, whatever you're doing, take care of yourself, stay safe, and as always, Paddy, what do we say, mate?
Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.